Okay, now let's focus on the next big topic on Pro Soccer Talk this week. Is there a favourite between Manchester City, Liverpool, and Chelsea in the Premier League title race? Because we're a third of the way into the season now, gents. We're right about there. We have a pretty good idea of where each team is at. The title race, though, seems to be really, really tight this season. So, Nick, is there a clear favourite for you between City, Liverpool, and Chelsea? Because I'm struggling. I'm really, really struggling with this one.
If there's a clear favorite, you're a supporter of one of those three teams. That's what I would say about this. I have a team that I would project, and if you ask me to, I will tell you, but I feel like that's coming a little bit later. But I look at all three teams as having Liverpool's attack has at times been absolutely mesmerizing, despite the fact that they're not necessarily possession based. And I think of the 10 players who have contributed the most goals to their team's output, they have 3. And that's with Firmino not finding his footing, because it's actually Diogo Jota. And I love them for that. I'm just not sure that they have the depth to contend with what probably will be a long Champions League run and a run like that. I look over at Chelsea, and there's reason to love what they've done because they did it last year in Europe, and they have terrific attacking depth once everybody is healthy. And Man City is, again, it's artwork to me. It's wonderful, and it's just a matter of who are they going to get to finish the goals come January. So, guys, I don't think there's a favorite. Can one of you say there is a I don't want to say clear favorite. Will you say favorite of this bunch?
I'm struggling, but if you combine these three teams, you got one heck of a team with Chelsea's defense, Man City's midfield, and Liverpool's attack. I mean, that's the best team of all time. But yeah, I would probably stick with my preseason pick, which was Chelsea, purely because of how well they're doing defensively. I mean, 8 shutouts in their first 12 games of the Premier League season. That is just incredible. And a lot of different players as well. Players are coming in and out of the lineup. Thiago Silva, Christensen, Rudiger, Azpilicueta, Reece James, Alonso, Chilwell. Whatever defenders they put out there, they know their job and they know their role, and they are so well drilled under Thomas Tuchel. And yeah, I struggle to see past Chelsea, to be honest. But Andy, I mean, my question to you is, which team is in better form right now? And does that really make any difference in the grand scheme of things at the moment?
No, I don't think the form right now, it's going to ebb and flow throughout the season, or maybe it won't really ebb and flow for these teams. Maybe it will just be good form all season long. And that was what we saw on the weekend. That was the thing that stuck out to me. And so I have 2 points here before we get to actually saying this is, who I think it will be, Nick. 10-0 on the weekend. These three teams, all victorious, a combined 10-0, 3-0, 3-0, 4-0. So absolutely dominant right now, 12 games into the season. The thing I'm enjoying most about these three teams and the way that they are, and hopefully will continue to battle for the title all season, is how different all three of them are. They're doing it in completely different ways of playing the game. Liverpool, 1,000,000 miles an hour at all times. Got the ball, 1,000,000 miles an hour. Don't have the ball, 1,000,000 miles an hour. We're going to run you into the ground. Chelsea, we're going to defend for our lives, but we're still going to score some goals as well. But we're so solid defensively that you cannot even get into the penalty area, let alone find the back of the net. And then Manchester City, like Nick said, I think Nick put it perfectly. It is art. It is so aesthetically pleasing and soothing, I think is the right word, to watch Manchester City with the ball, to just scoot it around. They're not passing it around the field. They're not kicking it across the field. They're just scooting it along the ground, and they know exactly where it's going. And the rotation, the movement that exists within that team, I still have a little worry about, well, who's going to score goals for that team? You're going to need to score goals, especially in head-to-head games again between these three teams. I don't know how they score against Chelsea. I don't know how they keep from getting overwhelmed by the pace of Liverpool as well. So there's an argument to be made for all three of these teams. And I think that's what makes it such a good title race. I'm almost a little thankful that we got it wrong coming into the season. We thought it would be 4. I don't think I could handle 4 teams if Manchester United were actually up to par with these other 3. I think it would be too much.
Yeah, it's already too much right now, but it's great. We're not complaining, really. Let's put that out there. This is amazing to watch. As you said, 3 teams playing very different ways, but dominating the Premier League early in the season. I'm already got on my calendar circled as well. January 15th, Man City host Chelsea. I mean, that's going to be an unbelievable game, especially after the busy festive period and FA Cup games thrown into the mix there. That's going to be an incredible clash. And Nick, I want to ask you, what are the key factors now to look at heading into this busy festive period and early 2022? Is it the squad size? Because you think that maybe Chelsea and Man City, that's where they perhaps have the edge over Liverpool, and Liverpool have key players going to the African Cup of Nations as well. You have to factor that in. So there's a lot going on, a lot of moving parts, but it seems like Chelsea and City are really set up for success, maybe over Liverpool, who have been unlucky a little bit with injuries in recent weeks.
I think we've all kind of looked at Liverpool over the last few years and wondered if and when they're going to run out of gas, right? Well, kind of what we talked about with Marcelo Bielsa, right? That these Leeds guys have been doing the system for so long, especially the championship grind and how many more games they are. And that's what I'm concerned about with Liverpool this month. I think if they can get to February still into the discussion, then we may want to talk about them as a favorite. But the congestion, you rightly point out, the Africa Cup of Nations is a scary proposition for them. What I'll be looking for is I'll take Andy's one of Andy's comparisons and similes, metaphors, whatever, and maybe take it to the next level. I look at Pep Guardiola's team as that group of friends in a convertible if we're all on the highway, maybe even the, let's get seasonal, right, vacation situation. It's, what's her name? Billy Joe's ex-wife versus the team in the station wagon. And to me, that's Chelsea, right? Like they've got everything you could possibly want. And then there's Liverpool, though, and it's that pickup truck that has the jet boosters coming out the back, and it's just ferocious. But the miles per gallon is a problem. And that's what I'm wondering about over this break is, are we going to see Liverpool hold up? And if they do, then look out.
Absolutely. I want to finish with a very easy question. Which one of these managers would you choose to coach your team if you had the choice? Andy Edwards, Thomas Tuchel. I'm just shocked by how shocked Andy was at this question coming. So you got Tuchel, Klopp, or Guardiola. You have to pick one. Who do you go with?
I couldn't handle the existential musings on a daily basis of Pep. I couldn't do it. It would be too much. So it would have to be Klopp or Tuchel, and I don't think I could. As great as the photos of Klopp celebrating are in the video, I don't think I could handle that. I don't think he's for me. I think I got to play it safe. I got to be a little bit, we got to chill a little bit. Thomas Tuchel, of the three, I think probably the most chill.
Nick, you agree with that?
Yeah, the most chill. I'm picking Pep, and I'll double down here by saying I do believe they are the slight favorites to win the league. And the reason I'm picking Pep is, yes, those existential musings would be crazy, but I do think hey, I'm getting off of work. With the other guys, it's all right, we're going to go to the pub or the restaurant. It's like, oh, we're going to go to the art museum, or we're going to go check out this protest in the square. And he just seems so well-rounded. And frankly, I think he wouldn't want to be around me that much, so I wouldn't get annoyed around him. So I pick Pep because the whole system, and again, what we've seen with Phil Foden and what we're supposedly about to see with Cole Palmer, these are guys coming through, knowing the understanding of the system. And the fact that Pep convinced someone as gifted as Foden to stay patient until he was ready to be a superstar, that's really impressive to me.
Yeah, it's incredible. The style, and Nick Mendola and Pep Guardiola are culture vultures, definitely. So I think you guys will get on pretty well there. I'm going to go with Jurgen Klopp. So we've got all three managers covered because I love it. The way he plays football, I think, in many ways, as an Englishman, it's like traditional Premier League, English football, heavy metal, full throttle attack. Just go out, leave it all out on the pitch, and we'll worry about the rest of it later. We'll worry about all the injuries and how you guys are absolutely shattered, but we're just going to keep running. I think that's why it's been such a success here in England, and especially at Liverpool. The club, everybody connected with the club, the fans, the players, pundits, whoever, just adores him. And I'm a sucker for the fist pumping and getting behind a manager that, the intangibles are there. Yes, he's a great coach in the way that the pressing, the front three, how it all works. But I think there is still a percentage of being a great coach, which just isn't about the X's and O's. It's about having the passion and just putting that on your team and saying, you know what, I'm with you guys. You guys reflect my passion. And Liverpool do that, and I think that's why they've been so successful. So, in short, Chelsea, Liverpool, Man City, a lot to admire about these three teams. They're going to be right up there all season long in the Premier League title race. And if you couldn't tell, we're very, very excited about that, and I cannot wait to see the rest of the season. So over at Pro Soccer Talk on NBCSports.com, We'll keep you updated with all the latest news from those three teams, schedules, how to watch them. And my word, it's been fun to watch them in the first third of the season, we're going to call it.
Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host for NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch highlights all season long, and be sure to tune in for Premier League mornings every weekend at 7 a.m. Eastern. And for even more content, head over to Peacock, where we've got live games, original series, and a dedicated round-the-clock Premier League channel featuring studio shows, classic matches, and much more.